So in the past on my channel, I've done lots of behind the scenes with lots of weddings, and we don't really do weddings anymore, but I figured I'd take you along today and take you through a full top to bottom commercial shoot that we have with a client that we do a lot of work with. Lots of different types of filmings, different gear, different setup. Ben and I are here, we're ready to crush it. So let's do this thing. So the first thing we have to do is a little testimonial. A client of theirs is actually gonna speak about obviously the work that they do. This is a company called the Center Consulting Group. So they do consulting with companies all over. They're awesome. So we're gonna set up a little scene into the hallway kind of. It's a little bit of a tricky setup, but we wanna get the center, like the main room when you walk in there. So I'm gonna try to set that up. Our main lights that we use these days are the Aputure 300X and the Aputure 600X. We use a bunch of other little lights depending on what we're doing, but for this, that'll be primarily the two lights that we'll use. I'm thinking we'll basically have the person like right here, and then the camera will kind of be tucked, and then the other camera can be tighter from that angle. I think that probably will look nice though. Move the light way back so it doesn't make such a big, so it's not so strong on just that side of the word.
The intensity can't go lower at all?
It can. But I don't think that it's the intensity. I think it's just more that it was just really bright on that one specific spot. Like, see how that's a little bit more uniform. Go see if that hot spot's off that. We're gonna try warming up that back light that is being lit on the sign here.
Ready?
And just tilt it. Make sure the light's pointing right. Yeah, there you go. A little bit more center of the thing, and then turn the intensity down a little bit.
Okay.
Okay, and then try warming it up. Oh yeah, that's it. Yeah, baby. So our shotgun of choice for anything talking head, which is what we prefer, is a Schoeps MK41. We try to use a lav as little as possible. Schoeps are our main thing. So we're gonna have you stand right here, and you'll be looking this way, like you're looking out the hallway.
You're looking.
So, yeah.
And I started in the insurance business in 1979 with a company called Century Insurance. And after about 12 years, I decided I wanted to be an independent agent. So I started in an agency that back in those days, it was called Maxim.
Okay, testimonials all wrapped up. The next thing we have are 2 back-to-back podcasts. And we actually don't produce a ongoing podcast for them. What we really do is more of what we call like a panel discussion where they talk about a bunch of different stuff, and then we cut that into different various pieces of content. So this room is obviously tricky for a lot of reasons, the biggest one being that it's an echo chamber. We're in the process of potentially trying to see if they will invest in doing some acoustic treatment, because this is pretty common in some sort of boardroom, but it's just very, very echoey. So we'll show you how we kind of combat that a little bit, but we're gonna do just a standard setup where they're all able to look at each other and multiple cameras and different angles. Lots of light in this room, which is good, but actually so much that fortunately this company made a smart decision, and they have these little panels that Ben's putting up now that allow you to actually just block out some of the light. Natural light's fantastic, but not for like long form stuff, especially if it's a cloudy day or something, because you just get a lot of variance. So as you can see now, it's kind of much more soft in this room overall, and it'll get us what we're looking for. So that's what we got to set up now. So these blankets are actually from a company, I forget what company we bought them from, but these are actually designed for sound. Obviously, they're pretty similar to just like a packing blanket from moving, but they're not. And what's cool about these is they have a black side and a white side, so you can either use it to bounce light or stop light, which is good, but also they do the sound side of things, which is really important. So what we're gonna do for this is we're gonna do a C-stand with one of them up that's kind of blocking some of the reflections that's going toward the wall. And then we're gonna put a couple on the ground, which will just make it a little bit more dead in here. Nothing really you can do for the whole room. Obviously, it's a big square with drywall. So, but this will at least help a little bit in some of the reflections, which is better than nothing. Carpets are an easy way in any room to basically get a little bit more of the reverb and echo out of the room. So this is essentially just serving as that purpose. Your biggest reflection points in any room are always like your corners. So the more that you can have like someone not talking into a corner or close to a wall, the better. Obviously, if someone is in a corner, you're gonna hear a lot of that. So ideally, you would have treatment that would kind of help that. But with this, where they're kind of sitting at a table, even the table in general is not great for sound because the table itself is gonna reflect sound. But you gotta do what you gotta do. And fortunately, I have a lot of experience with audio correction. Doing this a lot, you realize that being able to fix bad audio in some of these situations is actually the best tool that you have, because there's really nothing I can do. I can't get here obviously days before and set up this ideal perfect treatment. It's just not gonna happen. And we don't do obviously multi-million-dollar shoots or anything that we're having, you know, this crazy setup with this whole team making everything perfect. It's just not the kind of work that we do. So our work is, hey, let's try to get it the best we possibly can, and then we'll obviously try to fix it after the fact, whatever we can. I hate the idea of fix it in post, but there are certain things that's the only option you have. Now I hear you saying, what is that audio setup that you use for podcasts? It looks very clean and wireless, and yeah, well, you may have seen it in a previous video, but if not, this is the Rode Wireless Pro. And this right here is the little handle that you can buy for the Wireless Pro. Now in the past, we've done lots of different setups with SM7Bs, we've done SM58s, we've done lots of different setups, and they all work good, but you still have to worry about cables and keeping things clean, running it to an interface, doing all that stuff. And we found that, well, what if we just use the brand new 32-bit float recording that's built into the Rode Wireless Pro, bought these handles, and use these as a podcast setup, because you get wireless anywhere you want, and it just records internally with float recording. It seemed like a genius setup to me. We tried it for a previous podcast with this client and it worked outstanding, so we did it again. That's what this setup is. It works great. These things sound really, really good as you hear this close to the mouth, and it's fully wireless with 32-bit float recording. It's really hard to beat. It works really, really well. Highly recommend. Panel video is all done. Now we are doing the next big section of videos they do. They do these things basically called leadership videos, where they're talking about a specific topic. They like to do the kind of the screen next to them. So it's not like a presentation, but they're talking about specifically what's coming on the screen and kind of referencing it. So this becomes a very tricky setup, because as you'll see, there's lots of reflections that we have to worry about with the actual screen itself, and making sure that the camera doesn't see the other cameras off the reflection. This isn't really designed specifically for that type of thing, so it's not like it's a matte finish that doesn't have reflection. So you'll see kind of how we do that, but that's what's next. We got to move this stuff into position and then get going on these next videos, which will take us through the next bunch of hours. Hey, real quick, sorry to bother you, but I wanted to make note of something specifically in this shot for those of you who may be watching it back and say, why was the microphone so high? When you're using a shotgun mic like the Schoeps MK41, the best quality you can get is anywhere between, let's just say, 12 and 18 inches away from the mouth. Now, as you can see in this shot, it is significantly higher than that. And the reason for that is the fact that when the boom pole would come down, you would see the reflection in the actual TV where they are in front of. Now, we normally want the microphone much closer than you see in this shot, but that created an issue because the reflections caused by the boom pole in the shot on the TV was nearly impossible. We either had to keep it where it was at or we had to bring it and then it would be in frame. So what we actually decided on after this specific shot was to actually put a lav on everybody else. But we couldn't put a lav on her because if you are into filmmaking stuff, you know that sometimes it's hard to put a lav mic on a female, especially if they're not wearing some sort of button-down shirt. So we made the executive decision to just keep it a little bit higher than we prefer, and then I will absolutely fix it in post and make it sound completely usable. It'll still sound really, really nice, but there was just nothing I was gonna do on this shot differently. After this shot, the rest of the takes that we did were actually no shotgun mic, and we used a lav. We always prefer shotgun mics, but certain times like this where the pole is just a reflection and there's nothing we can do about it, we prefer to get good audio no matter what over just having it in a random spot. So that's what we did. In case you're wondering, it should not be that high and not that far away from someone when you're actually using a shotgun. All right, back to the video.
Leadership is all about choices, and sometimes the most difficult ones involve conversations.
Most people feel that sense of calling. They feel that purpose.
One of the most important things I think when you're doing commercial work is really getting a feel for what they need from you on the filming day. There are certain clients we work with who are extremely prepared. We really just hit record, they do their thing, they know what to expect, and that's kind of how the shoot goes. There are others that really look to us and lean on us to give them direction, whether that be in how they're saying things or whether to redo things or whatever. We really try to feel that out. We try to not have too many cooks in the kitchen is what we say. So even though there are multiple people here filming, we really try to make one person kind of be the person that's doing the directing, so we're not having to worry about so many people having input. But we'll also feel it out. If the talent, the person that's on the screen talking on the camera needs some direction and they're looking to us and saying, how was that, or should I say this differently, or should I say that differently, we absolutely will speak into that and help in any way we can. But we also don't want to make it feel like they have to get approval for every single thing. So that's kind of a per client basis. You really learn and you start to understand your clients more and more. But my best recommendation is to really just try to understand per client what they really need from you and execute that in the best way possible. Well, that's a wrap on the shoot. I hope this was somewhat helpful for you. And I wanted to just give a little bit of context on a few things because I know when you watch a behind the scenes video, typically you're gonna have feedback. You're gonna say you would do things differently this way, or you should have done this, or you should have done that, or you wouldn't have done this, or I shouldn't have done that, whatever it is, and I totally get it. One thing I like to always make note of is that when I am showing you behind the scenes content, I am not telling you how you should do things, I'm just showing you how we do things. There are lots of times that there might be additional things that I could have done in shots that maybe I look back after the shoot and say, oh, I should have done that, or I should have done that. There are other times that I actually have ideas that I'd like to execute when I'm in person doing the shoot, but sometimes it's just not possible. Some shoots we do are on very quick, tight little deadlines, so sometimes we're working with a very short amount of time, and the majority of the content we do is not big production, fully scripted, pre-production stuff. We are really doing a lot of run and gun shooting. So even this type of shoot is something that we literally have about 15 to 20 minutes between each one of those things you saw to kind of quickly get set up and get to work. So would I potentially do things differently if I had a couple hours to set up and I wanted to tweak even more lights and do audio differently and do this and that? Probably, but you have to understand the context of how we do things and how we are always looking to achieve the best result we can in as quick as time as possible because we don't have a lot of time to work through everything we're doing. As always, though, I love hearing your feedback. So if there's anything you see in our setup that you think, hey, this would have been a cool idea, or maybe did you consider this, knowing the context of what we're doing. I love learning. I'm an obsessive learner. And the reason I create these videos is to help people that maybe are not yet where I am in my video production journey, but I'm always looking to learn from you as well. So please comment below, tell me some thoughts. And if you like seeing some of these videos and you want to see more behind the scenes stuff, I really love watching how people operate. And if this video is helpful to you, make sure you comment that below as well. And maybe we'll do some more. Let me know what you want to see, and maybe we'll come back and do some more. Thanks as always for watching. If you're brand new here, consider subscribing. Hang out with me for a bit. Thanks.